Greetings, Masters. I am Metatron, Lord of Light, and I embrace you in this moment. With me are the energies and presence of the angelic realm, the ascended Masters of the Cosmic Council of Light, and those benevolent beings of the Sirian Pleiadian Alliance. We welcome you, each of you here, in a now moment of unconditional love. Dear ones, with the understanding that you are here for learning, we tell you that the University of Polarity Earth is specifically designed for the evolution of the human soul. The curriculum and venue of Polarity Earth, the educational process, is in fact a version of the Omni-Earth that is created and co-created in divine intelligence. It is a purposed illusion. It is created by purposed thought and cannot be destroyed. Consider that. That does not mean you do not have responsibilities in the care of Earth and its supporting kingdoms, for indeed that is part of the learning process. The purpose of the Earth plane is your soul evolution. The Earth supports that mission by divine plan, by agreement, and all of the kingdoms of Earth are part of that. Accordingly, we tell you that there are versions of other beings that are of divine intelligence that are here to support you in your purpose here. These include master beings from many realms. Some make visitations here to support you, and some chosen of these come in full avatar consciousness. But be aware that there are versions of benevolent master beings that have, by agreement, chosen to manifest in various step-down forms to support humanity. Those of the animal kingdom on the earth are here to support you. Part of that process involves their expression on the earth plane in group consciousness. The deepest dimensions of the animal self exist not at the level of the individual, but of the entire species, and that highest level is not enrolled in the duality lesson per se. And so we speak to this gathering of the Sacred Felidae of Sirius A. The Sacred Felidae and Canidae are incredible beings that bring tremendous support to humanity. The Felidae are divine intelligence, fully evolved, magnificently conscious in crystalline expression. They are members of both the Sirian Pleiadian Alliance and of what may be termed the Niburian Mastery Council, both of whom are benevolently involved in the upshift of the consciousness evolution of planets and planetary races who are prepared to graduate into the next level in their ascension. The Feladay. The Feladay are a feline species who originate on Sirius A. These are beings that have entered the Earth plane since ancient times in specific roles and formats. The versions currently in physical form on the Earth plane are in what may be termed the feline and canine family. These physical formats on the Earth plane are here to support you, and in their physical matrix are but a portion of the consciousness of their Sirian nature. That is because the Feladay expression on the Earth are in group soul format, and are not here to evolve as a species, but rather to support the Earth and assist humanity in evolution. The greater part of their consciousness is above the level of the Earth plane. The feline operate vastly in the ethereal or stealth antimatter realm. Their full consciousness existed and manifested in Lemurian, Atlantean, and early Egyptian eras. The masters of the Sacred Felidae were involved in the genetic engineering in the Temple of Purification on Poseida in Atlantis during the Golden Age of the Law of One. This was done in a very positive and benevolent manner prior to such technology being tragically misused by the Aryan sons of Belial in the sad demise of the final era of Atlantis. The Feladay of Sirius A and the Cetacean Sirian B masters are skilled at integrating spirit into physical matter. This is not only giving life force to a physical form, but also in integrating higher chakric levels of consciousness within the physical matrix in Merkana level multidimensionality. This ability to work with humanity in energetic terms involves activating higher chakras and higher crystal light bodies. This higher level of consciousness is the Christos consciousness, and the cetaceans are crystalline masters. Their renewed role on the Earth includes assisting the shift transition from the declining magnetic polarity grid to the evolving crystalline grid. Question to Metatron. So are the beings from Sirius B primarily aquatic and the beings from Sirius A feline? Metatron response. The habited realm circulating Sirius B is primarily aquatic, and the cetaceans, the dolphins, and the whales are aquatic, yet also of a high enough consciousness to manifest form that can equally habituate within both aqueous realms and what would be termed land. The life forms of the sister star Sirius A are different expressions than the cetaceans. Sirius A enlivens humanoid life, starseed, as well as the sacred starseed Felidae. These are all beings of divine intelligence that all have varied expressions supporting the Earth plane. These all interact with your planet on many levels in myriad forms. Question to Metatron. You have mentioned that only humans are in soul evolution on planet Earth. Aren't the dolphins and whales also in a high state of consciousness and evolution? Metatron response. The sacred cetaceans are indeed in a high state of evolution, but they are not on the Earth to evolve. They are already evolved. So understand, they are here on the Earth to support the Earth and assist mankind in doing so. The cetaceans are physically here to anchor the energy in the aquatic portions of the Earth, to enable the planetary balance and facilitate the shift from magnetic to crystalline. The etheric, non-physical return of the golden dolphin is the sacred cetaceans in full avatar mastery, directly assisting humanity to evolve into crystalline Merkana field. The Feladay are assisting humanity in physical manifestation, but have also assisted in etheric mastery, particularly in Atlantis, Central America, and Egypt. But in the stepped-down form, assist you in emotional and mental fields, and this is the primary topic of today's discourse, that of the Feladay in expression of feline and canine. Question to Metatron. I am intrigued by the information on the Feladay and Felidae of Sirius A. Are you speaking of cats and dogs? Can you expand on this? Metatron response. Certain breeds of what may be termed house cats and dogs are indeed uniquely designed derivations of the starseed Felidae. They perform specific roles in assisting humans. The house versions of cats and domestic dogs are genetically engineered from the golden age of Atlantis. The genetic engineering was benevolently done by the Sirian-Pleiadian alliance and is an extremely helpful action, as stated, to assist humanity as they became more densely ingrained in the Earth plane. Now, what you term as canine and feline are of the same source. Both are derivations of the starseed Felidae. Cats and dogs are different physical forms of the same source. The Feladay of Sirius A are a fully conscious crystalline being. They have melded into a group unity consciousness, yet still retain aspectual individual identities within the greater harmonic field. The group field chooses to assist humanity in your universe and others. Cats and dogs. Both cats and dogs in this derivation are serving as benevolent energy, giving assistance to humans, their caretakers. Both have the capacity to meld their energy fields with the human and are uniquely capable of becoming personality fragments of their human caretakers. That is why certain of these can often begin to display the physical characteristics of their owners, although this particular aspect occurs more commonly with the canine. The canine exudes an extreme loyalty and unconditional love, a dedication that energetically is received by the human and can assist in many ways. The dogs and cats become companions, healers, and protectors. The feline, the cat, is much more in the ethereal, antimatter realm in its conscious field. That is why many past societies worshipped the feline forms of jaguar, lion, tiger, and puma. These beings are extremely aware of thought forms of ethereal realms and offer a stealth strength and protection. The house cat is capable of tremendous protection for their caretakers from untoward thought forms and negative energies. Certain breeds of dogs have this ability as well, but it is expressed and enacted differently. Vibrational healing. The purring of a cat is very beneficial in healing, repairing, and protecting the human aura. The mystical aspect of cats has long been recognized, and temple cats were used in many ancient societies, as well as companions and allies of the shaman. The lupus and other canine species, such as the wolf, have this ability as well. Both cats and dogs have the capacity to sense and see in far greater dimensionality than the human eye. The therapy and service of cats and dogs in working with abused children, terminally ill patients, the depressed, and elderly in nursing homes are examples of significant pet therapy healing being more and more recognized. This will be expanded even further in the future. Cats see above visible light and can actually see the human auric field, the human EMF, and all manner of energy emanations invisible to the human eye. The wide spectrum that cats perceive in light fields is quite amazing. Cats see in fields of both non-physical matter and non-matter. Cats also are uniquely able to assist humans in not only better understanding their dreams and dream world interludes, but also capable of assisting you in more lucid awareness while in an ongoing dream. In other words, greater conscious clarity during dream states. Dogs are more in the field of matter and sense or feel the human auric field, and indeed are extremely capable of understanding the direct resonance of the human emotional field. Additionally, Felidae canine dogs assist in helping humans better understand their feelings and emotional blockages, and help humans work through them into a better state of balance. We will speak more on these attributes further into this discussion. The service of seeing eye dogs with the blind is another area of service in which great bonds are created. Dogs are able to feel and indeed smell dis-ease within the human body. They will often lay their own bodies in the area of the human malady and transfer energy to assist in rebalancing the area of imbalance. They will also mentally project awareness to the human of the malady in direct telepathic communication. Cats will provide a similar service, but their sense of the human imbalance is visually observed. A cat sees the human auric field in great clarity, in vivid color and detail. Areas of malady will appear discolored to the feline. The cat will often lay on the area and purr, or exude a balancing frequency or color to assist the rebalance. Unique melding with human consciousness. The version of Felidae and Canidae that are cats and dogs are but a fragment of the full consciousness and energy spectrum of their Sirian aspects. Yet this expression is specifically and purposefully designed to be so. For these beings can become so bonded with the humans they serve that a unique third consciousness can succinctly evolve between the human and the pet that is extremely beneficial to the evolvement of the human caretaker. The earthen consciousness of dogs and cats operates more on group plurality thought patterns with powerful instinctual triggers. Their designed, benevolent, divinely agreed DNA engineering is such that they have a unique and divinely purposed ability to become allied, programmed in a partnership with the human they are working with. When this partnership occurs, these beings are able to telepathically receive thought images sent by their caretaker. Just as human thought can program a living crystal, the same occurs, albeit in a different format, with dogs and cats. It may be termed as the formation of a personality aspect of the human within the cat or dog. The pet then is capable of assisting the human in both physical and emotional ways, providing comfort, energy, healing, companionship, detecting illness, sealing auric ruptures, and providing protection in physical and etheric realms. Many humans have household pets in cats and dogs that help them work through blockages. One of the most common occurrences is that these beings help you awaken your ability to express love. It is very easy to express and give affection to the household animal, and for many this is far easier than expressing love and kindness to other humans. Depending on the individual, this blockage can occur for many reasons. Very often, as humans grow older, children move away, and a spouse passes over, a seeming natural period of lonely isolation sets in. The interaction with the pet can awaken the flow of love through fond endearment. This interaction awakens the very life force in the isolated caretaker, and an interplay that is very therapeutic occurs. We tell you that there is far more design and intelligence in the willing participation of the Feladay and Canidae than is recognized. The third field between humans and pets. When this third consciousness through interaction is formed, it expands the field of both parties. It awakens within it characteristics that neither of the parties involved had prior. In other words, it expands. It stretches the emotional field awareness and indeed the third meld consciousness. And this reaches back into and changes the individual awareness of both. The pet opens up your ability to remain positive in allowing you to express love, and you teach it, in a manner of speaking, to channel the greater part of its divine Sirian consciousness in doing so. Your willingness for the interaction allows it to achieve its specific purpose, and there is an important growth on both sides unique to the field created between the two of you. The pet operated in group consciousness prior to the melding blend with the human, and the individuality of it was formed in the bond with the human. Do you understand? Question to Metatron. Are you saying that animals are not individual unless they blend with the human to form the consciousness meld with humans? Metatron responds. In a manner of speaking, yes, that is what we are saying. But to be clear, we are not saying that animals do not have individual aspects before the meld. Each are incarnate in physical bodies, and are indeed subject to the gravitational characteristics to some degree that occur in the astrological influences in all life on Earth. But they operate fully and only in group soul awareness, until the meld with the humans uniquely occurs. That interaction is succinct and builds a personal fragment capable of growing. But we are not saying that animals do not have a group purpose without the meld. The group purpose is transformed into a singular service in the expanded field by means of the human interaction with the group soul of the household pet, as expressed in the individual cat or dog. It is therefore the human interaction that creates the individual field within the pet. So in a manner of speaking, the animal has agreed to be benevolently programmed in blend with the mental field, emotional field, and personality of the human caretaker for higher purpose. This is how the third field is created, and that third field is a fragment of the human consciousness that benefits both the animal and human, you see? yet the primary purpose is to benefit the human, a service provided by the Felidae. But there is a choice to accept the human on the part of the Felidae, and when that is mutually accepted, the greater role of the group soul can be fed into the meld, and wisdom, protection, and healing can be given from the pet to the human. So understand, this third meld is a conduit that is very far-reaching, but occurs by agreement. The Atlanteans, Lemurians, and Egyptians in particular interacted with the Felidae in roles of guardianship and wisdom transfer. The Egyptian temples contain many hieroglyphs depicting the Felidae as having feline heads and human torsos and limbs, complete with the solar disk of enlightenment. The Sphinx is the reverse, the human head with the feline body. Question to Metatron. How exactly do cats and dogs offer protection to humans? Is this by their greater awareness of other dimensions? Metatron responds, yes, by specifically being much more in tune to other realms that are, as we have explained, somewhat invisible to the human physical senses. The guardianship in the specific forms as described in household or human interface versions of the Sirian beings is performed in a beautiful manner, and that is through not only the detection of what may be termed negative energies, but by neutralizing those very untoward energies by powerful projections of benevolent loving energy vibrations that are orchestrated through the Sirian Felidae to the human. The Sirian being diagnoses exactly what is needed and channels the necessary vibration to assist the caretaker. You do not always recognize that you induce auric fracturing when you become depressed or highly upset. These states form negative fields that open you to untoward auric attachments that are energetically draining. When a cat purrs, the vibration is of a deep contentment, and the frequency within that vibration is very healing, capable of evaporating negative energy fields by neutralizing them. Likewise, when dogs playfully jump and run, often in joyous spins, they are, like the dolphin, forming energy vortexes capable of cleansing the energies and offering a channeled frequency that is extremely beneficial to the environment, not only removing negative vibrations, but creating a shield to eliminate their re-entry. When cats seem to patrol the perimeter of a room, house, or yard, they are also exuding an immense protective field. We will tell you that the Felidae and the Canidae, the feline and canine, are from the same root source of Sirius A, although their expressions on Sirius A are fully evolved. As we have told you, the household versions of these beings are in fact physical formats, genetically engineered by the Sirians to assist humanity in the ways we are herewith discussing. Question to Metatron. To be clear, are you saying that cats and dogs are from the same Sirian source? Metatron responds, in the higher original source, yes. Both are of the one crystalline fully evolved mastery of Sirius A, the Felidae. Cats and dogs are from the same source. On Sirius, they are now crystalline light beings, non-physical from your perspective, appearing in crystalline light forms. As we mentioned, the Felidae have manifested in full avatar mastery at various times on your planet to assist you. The Felidae are masters of incorporating spirit into physicality and assisted in the original engineering of full-strand DNA for mankind. Indeed, the races of humanity contain Sirian Felidae aspects in their DNA, some more than others. The very athleticism and agility prevalent in some humans draws on this, to give one of many aspectual examples. Question to Metatron. As an item of curiosity, if they are of the same Sirian source, why do dogs chase cats? Metatron responds, dogs only chase cats until they catch them. At that point, the tables usually turn, and quite quickly. The short answer is that dogs work in the physical realm and cats more in the non-physical, as in matter, non-matter, both completing the opposite sides of the torus, one inward, one outward. Canines are more conscious in physical realms of matter, the feline more in the etheric realm, you see. We will say that in a real sense, dogs and cats are inverses of the same frequency when expressed on the earth plane. That is why cats generally sleep 16 hours and are active 8 hours, and the reverse schedule is true for dogs. Generally speaking, the feline, the domesticated cats, tend to be more introverted, and the canine, dogs, more external or extroverted. Their frequencies are then inward in the former, outward in the latter, and naturally attract one another, not repulse. You will find that dogs and cats raised or living in the same household develop special loving bonds. This particularly occurs in an enhanced manner when the animals have had past sojourns in which the fragment of personalities with the humans form. As an example, the channel now houses 2 cats and 2 dogs. They work together and share a deep bond, and all 4 are aspects of the 2 human caretakers. We will also add that one of the dogs, the female, has been feline in the past more often than canine. The Sacred Felidae in their earth plane manifestation have retained the unique ability to operate simultaneously in inner and outer world projections much more than humans. At any one time in which you observe the physical material manifestation of a Felidae, they are equally conscious of being fully manifested simultaneously in other dimensional planes. Quite often, they interact with other realms while present physically in this one. Linear filters of consciousness. Although humans also simultaneously exist in other levels, humans in 3D cannot interpret the frequencies of the other realms in consistency or lucid clarity through the physical brain alone. The mind, which is the inner counterpart of the brain, can at times perceive the far greater dimensions of any given event through a crystal-electric burst of sudden intuition or comprehension that cannot be adequately described on a verbal level. The crystalline electrical impulses that are perceivable within your 3D system are merely a tiny fraction of the vast crystal electric system in the cosmos. A human's physical brain is, on its own, quite incapable of accurate perception or deciphering the frequencies above polarity. It is impossible in the physical brain alone to even grasp the myriad complexity and dimension of the crystal electrical potential and actuality as it exists. And although these are quite accessible in Merkana via higher mind, non-physical levels are not accessed by the brain alone in the human. Rather, they must be developed in Merkana through mind. So we tell you to keep in mind, pun intended, that the true origin, the eternal source and power of your divine intelligence and consciousness, has never been rooted in the physical. Each and every human exists in other worlds, different realities, and other dimensions, and the self that you call yourself is but a small portion of your entire identity. Because of the filters inherent to the physical brain, you are capable of focusing on the physical world around you, and it is that focus that enables you to eventually master the physical plane. We assure you that there is purpose in the filtering, for if the physical brain with the ego personality were unscreened, and thus fully aware of the vast and constant barrage of telepathic communications that do impinge upon it, it would have a most difficult time retaining a sense of identity in linear perception. It is because of the ego consciousness that you have a powerful identity awareness of the physical realm, for you are in physical with specific purpose. But we say again, it is not your true identity in the cosmic overview. While in physicality, The human brain is simply not equipped in linear mode to be able to make sense of the signals coming in from higher dimensions. Your standard brain can't read them. To the brain, these impulses appear to be a chaotic melange of disconnected flash images. The ego personality brain based in linear time cannot perceive data that is not based upon sequential continuity of moments. Interestingly, certain of the animal kingdom, particularly the Felidae, can. So with this axiom that the Felidae and certain Canidae do operate more effectively in other coinciding planes, we tell you that is precisely why these beings were recognized by more aware societies as guardians. It is why a dog will bark, or a household cat will move in quick reaction to energies unseen by the human eye. Your academics understand that there are spectrums of light. You also understand that the average human is only capable of physical vision in the narrow spectrum termed visible light. The Felidae and certain Canidae are capable of seeing and sensing in a much wider sensory range. We tell you that physical matter also occurs in spectrum waves, so are there varying spectrums of matter. Your system of physical reality on the Earth plane is not nearly as wide-reaching or complex in relative comparison with many others. The dimensions given to the narrow spectrum of physical matter barely hint at the prolific varieties of higher non-physical dimensions. You do not recognize as yet the nature of the non-physical in your own galaxy, much less the cosmos. We tell you that universes can exist within a molecule, and other versions of Earth validly coexist where you now sit to read these words. The Animal Kingdom, Forgotten Teachers. These beings that in current terms would be considered of the animal kingdom have taught humans far more than you presently recognize. The beings that you term animals operate in great and greater intelligence, albeit in a thought pattern matrix uniquely formatted to the natural aspect of the Earth plane. On an aspectual level, far more comprehensive than you currently grasp, the animal kingdom are here by agreement to support humanity on many levels. Their understanding of the Earth plane as a university of development for humanity is extended from and back to their mastery source. Their mental format pattern in the earthly expression is such that humans are held somewhat blameless. Although humanity does have a huge responsibility to treat the animal kingdom with respect, the animal kingdom does not place guilt on the humans. Their chosen mental format upon the earth is formatted in such a manner that guilt is not an expression contained within it. Rather, it is a pattern of instinct and benevolently capable of unconditional support. One of the differences between the cat and dog expressions of the Felidae are that dogs are more in the physical realm than cats. From an overview, cats are far more etheric within the antimatter field, while dogs much more in matter. Dogs react more to the direct frequency of your emotions, whereas cats react more to vibration and light emanations. Dogs will feel and react to anger and guilt in a more tangible way than cats. Cats cannot experience guilt, and that detachment from direct human emotional waves is why cats may seem aloof. Animal totems. The animal kingdom have a more full, vast understanding and awareness of the other conscious kingdoms of the earth, and have always had the ability to teach that to mankind. You have in current times largely forgotten, quite unfortunately, how much you learned from all of the beings of the animal kingdom. Humanity in campestral societies and cultures learned a great deal of medicine and nutrition from watching animal behavior in interaction with the plant kingdom. Humanity observed carefully what plants to avoid and which to cultivate. You learned survival techniques and indeed social behavior by not only watching the animals, but by directly communicating telepathically with them. In earlier sojourns and formative epochs, mankind far more closely identified with and understood the intelligence and wisdom offered by the natural instinctual patterns of the animal kingdom, and recognized them as wise teachers. And as a result, they identified with humanity, and indeed interacted with humanity to a truly remarkable degree. The animal spirits, or totems, recognized and honored as wisdom carriers by the Native Americans, are examples of the higher group collective of their higher off-planet consciousness, etherically manifesting to assist mankind. The knowledge and intuitive communication of the animal kingdom with the elemental and devic consciousness of the living earth, the mineral, fire, and air, is a precise understanding that could be of great assistance, affording forward signals to humanity in this time of Earth changes. Question to Metatron. You advised earlier that the Felidae starseed are the consciousness source for both the earthen feline and canine species of animals. Do all animals on the Earth plane originate from Sirius A, from the starseed Felidae? Metatron response. No. Sirius A is the source of humanoids and Felidae. Sirius B is the source of the Sacred Cetacean, Dolphin, and Whale. Dolphin and whale are of the same source, the Cetacean, just as the feline and canine are of the same source, starseed Felidae. Sirius is not merely two binary stars in the cosmos with circulating planets. It is a vibrational frequency of a realm that has achieved crystalline ascension. It is, accordingly, a sacred celestial resonance and way of being within a vastly expanded consciousness. Sirius is within all dimensions, both physical and non-physical. The stars of Sirius are portals or gateways to these other dimensions, and the Felidae, Hathor, and Cetacean are here in varied matrixial expressions to help humanity grow in awareness and to balance the earth and find their way home. The Sirians are receivers and transmitters of this divine loving energy. Other members of the animal kingdom in earthen expression come from a multiplicity of sources. For example, the horse is Arcturian in source. The animal kingdom has truly been your teachers, although they did not choose your human evolution path. As we have said, the animal kingdoms are not on the earth to evolve in soul expansion, but rather to support the soul expansion of humanity. We assure you that mankind could not have moved forward as a species had it not been for the beings of the animal kingdom. Indeed, certain of the animal kingdom, such as the bovine and certain other species of the mammal and bird, are here by agreement to provide a food source for mankind. Does that surprise you that this occurs by agreement? And although it is not the topic at hand, the plant kingdom has also been a huge support to mankind. Domesticated animals have benevolent purpose in choosing their earthen expressions. Those of the feline and canine have a unique role of interaction in the aspects of human companionship. This is by a higher sourced service agreement, and we will add the enhanced ability to form the personality meld in household pet derivations of the Felidae is genetically enhanced. Interaction. Many humans find that they can interact more easily with pets than they can with other humans. Pets don't talk back. The feline and canine are particularly committed to assist humans in dealing with blockage, in dealing with isolation, particularly as humans become older and alone. Both cats and dogs oft teach humans to learn to love again and to open their hearts. Dogs are tied to the human emotional field, cats to the human psychic plane mental field. The two are very different expressions of the Felidae, but both are focused on your assistance. Both are uniquely capable of forming a fragmentation aspect of the caretaker's personality. When a human forms a personality fragmentation meld with a Feladay or Canidae, that succinct energy can uniquely evolve and often reincarnate or reattach within other lifetimes and within the same lifetime to continue to assist the owner. Thus, a human may have the same energy essence of their cat or dog over a span of 70 years in several sequential cat or dog bodies. For example, the 2 cats and one of the dogs that the channel is caretaker for in the present were with him in different bodies as domesticated leopards in a past lifetime in Egypt. Question to Metatron. Pets often become family members, like children to their caretakers, and when they pass over, the caretakers are quite devastated. Can the same soul essence of the pet reincarnate immediately if the owner obtains a new pet? Metatron responds. The personality meld of the pet is in essence a unique part of the human caretaker, a personality fragment. When a pet physically dies, the meld fragment consciousness will absolutely remain close by in etheric planes to continue in connection to the human. The human is often able to sense, even see or feel the essence of the pet after it passes over, or even if it runs away or is lost. The owner can communicate with the meld personality essence, and it will indeed reincarnate, re-enter the body of a new pet. This is best if the new pet is obtained within 2 to 3 weeks of the passing, and is the same breed as the previous pet. In a short time, the distinct personality traits and characteristics of the previous pet will clearly re-emerge in the new body, and the relationship and support will continue. In the event the new pet is a different breed and/or a different astrological pattern, the similarities may not be as immediately apparent, but the meld essence and support will be the same source. This is important to understand. Responsibility. Dear human, in 2014 and beyond, it is essential you assume greater responsibility, greater awareness of the support given to you by all the kingdoms of the living earth. You can no longer turn a blind eye to the mistreatment of the benevolent beings of all life forms, and we tell you that everything is energy, everything is conscious. This will become more and more apparent to humanity in the new paradigm. The time for seeing animals as lower consciousness forms, as interesting curiosities, is old energy. Imprisoning animals in restrictive cages in your zoos and aquariums must be reconsidered, must stop. Likewise, the placing of highly conscious dolphins and whales in tanks for your entertainment is a generally tolerated cruelty in its present format. Question to Metatron. You have stated that certain animals have by agreement entered the earth to serve as food sources in support of humanity. Is hunting wrong? Metatron responds. Your souls merged into the biology and format of many life forms in pre-duality Earth. The expansion of most life forms manifested on the planet during what you term as the Cambrian explosion over 500 million years ago. Humanity entered some 200 million years ago in an approximation of time in your current stream of space-time in linear aspect. Certain species of the animal kingdom on the Earth plane evolved in a manner that incorporated carnivorous survival of the species. One must understand that the group pattern, the group consciousness of animals, is a thought pattern of instinct that permeates the group field in plurality. In a sense, feral animal species are like a tree, with each physical body forming a leaf on the tree. There is not the individual aspect in the bestial aspect in the step-down format of animals in nature. Although this may be difficult for you to understand, when one breed of animal consumes another for sustenance, it is by agreement in the past to current progression paradigm. In this aspect, animals have one group mind, one group consciousness incorporated into many feral-esque bodies. Nature in this aspect has an innate process of finding balance. When the young, old, or weaker members of the one group field mind in the undomesticated animal kingdom are taken as survival food source by another species, there is not the loss of an individual consciousness, for there is truly not an individuated aspect as you think of it. The group mind pattern remains alive and is streamed into a refinement in which the stronger survive to continue and breed. The consciousness of the animal being consumed simply withdraws and rejoins the oneness group pattern within the whole. The group mind understands in higher state the agreement occurring. So the captured animal being consumed is not conscious in the aspect of a human, and the energy simply and immediately enters back into the group body field. This may seem cruel and quite confusing to you, but in a simplistic analogy, it is comparable in a basic sense to trimming leaves from a bush or tree. The group survives in nature as it fits into the conditions that allow for survival of the species, just as a tree of a bush grows new leaves when some are removed. The tree survives, and the animal species survive in the same manner. Now, to answer your question, mankind since the beginning has relied on specific biologies to support their sustenance within survival needs. As we have stated, this is by agreement on the earth plane. Hunting, in your terms, toward this end was done in a means for survival, and by the indigenous campestral societies was done in an honoring fashion, in higher agreement. The sacrifice was acknowledged and thankfully honored. As we have stated, there are certain breeds of animal that by agreement are here to provide themselves as a food source for humanity. There are farms that raise specific breeds of animals, fish, and fowls to provide sustenance for humanity. There is a responsibility that these animals be treated humanely, and there are certain areas of abuse that occur in this process. That must be rectified, and there are organizations in place to ensure this occurs. When the Native Americans hunted, they did so for survival, and they honored the animal for the sacrifice. They did not do it for fun or thrill. The animal was acknowledged in higher chakric ceremony. That means is much different than what is often done today. The intent is important. However, in more contemporary times there is hunting for sport, hunting for trophies, hunting for the primordial thrill of the kill. Masters, let us be clear, such intent is of lower chakra. Hunting animals for sport as a form of entertainment is not appropriate, even in the guise that such hunting is needed for keeping animal numbers in control. When the hunt is established for the intent of kill thrill as an amusing sport, it is inappropriate. It is not the higher way. Do you understand the difference? Closing. In current times, it is considered fashionable in certain circles to see mankind as the greedy destroyer of the earth and its kingdoms, especially animal, plant, and mineral. It is likewise popular in some New Age circles to see man as the arrogant taker who contaminates the earth and destroys the natural earth kingdoms at the expense of future generations. We insert here that a large portion of this is true, and change is required, as stated. We do not condone humanity's untoward and irresponsible action in this issue. The point is that some who wish for the better feel all is hopelessly lost, that change for the better will not come. While unified determination to make change for the better is essential, the focusing on hopelessness must stop. That is the wrong application in creating the new earth. focusing on hopelessness and despair creates hopeless despair. So we offer you an insight of hope. What we wish to point out is that the earth is the dynamic manifestation at any given time of your thoughts. Humanity are ever the co-creators of the earth and omni-earth in all of its probable realities. We tell you, dear masters, the earth is a magnificent and purposed illusion, which is absolutely created by thought. Mankind en masse are, at the present time, unconscious of the fact that you are co-creators of the earth experience. There are other versions of probable reality in holographic time programs in which enlightened ascended humanity honor each other, the earth, and all of her kingdoms in beautiful harmony. Duality programming of the earth plane is intelligently and divinely planned. The trial and error evolution of this experience takes into account the learning curve. And that being said, we tell you that you cannot truly destroy the earth. You can and will create the enlightened earth by positive focus on its manifestation, not by focal despair that it has not yet occurred. Nothing is taken from the earth or from any of the earthen kingdoms, mineral, plant, and animal, that is not fully agreed to, fully permitted in the linear reality drama hologram. It rarely occurs to you that the animal kingdom consciousness came into physicality and earthen form by choice, and that the consciousness of such animals had a willing choice in the agreement to support humanity, fully aware of the potentials of man's stages of ignorance as humanity evolves. In the not-too-distant future, humanity will come to realize and not only honor the animal kingdom, but equally honor, acknowledge, and indeed love one another and the beautiful earth that nurtures you. It will occur. The new earth of 2012 and beyond offers each of you abilities to rise into theta coherent crystalline dimensions of creation. From 2014 through 2038, vast changes are taking place, coded changes that certain of you have chosen to receive and disseminate. These are the seeds of the new earth, an earth of beauty, and an earth consciously supporting humanity's ascension. Create it as so. I am Metatron, and I share with you these truths. You are beloved, and so it is.